I don't know where to start when introducing our guest in the studio. He is every bit the professional musician. He's travelling the world. He's played in every arena worth mentioning, gigging with the superstars, working on cruise ships. He's a session musician, a corporate entertainer, a teacher even, I understand, a songwriter, and more recently he's successfully establishing himself as a solo act with some very important gigs coming up. So much to cover and so little time. Now I'm proud to introduce into the studio Steve Young. Hello, Steve. Thank you for being there.
That was pretty good, that.
It wasn't bad, was it?
I'm going to record that.
This is your second interview today, I understand.
It is, yeah.
And are you living in your car?
Yeah, well, I'm living in my car anyway, but I'm just living in it and having more fun because I'm.
I think make sure you don't get the sympathy vote here. You don't actually mean you're living in your car.
No. I don't live in my car, but I made when I was purchasing my car, I made sure it was the most extravagant piece of kit that I owned because I spend more time in my car than anywhere else.
Fantastic. Well, I also think you're spending a fair bit of time in radio stations, but here we go.
All good.
Now, I know listeners are going to be fascinated by your history and your stories, but could we start by asking you to play a song, please? And which one have you chosen, and what's its story?
This is a newish song. Well, all my songs are new, but this is a song called Out of Our Minds, and it's about loving someone that you probably fight with quite a lot, but you still love them anyway.
I love it when songs are taken from real life.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much.
Off you go, off you go.
All right, thanks a lot.
There may only be a few of us in the studio, but you're getting a standing ovation. Nice one, Steve.
Thank you.
I have to say, the thing that hit me there was how powerful your voice is.
I got a cold as well.
Massively
it's normally louder than that.
There's a lot of power there, wasn't there? Absolutely. Were you ever going to be anything but a pro musician?
Well, didn't start playing guitar till I was 17.
Really?
But yeah, from the age of 16, when I went to see Pink Floyd at Wembley Stadium, I decided that was what I wanted to do.
That was your moment, was it? Are you saying there was no music in your life before?
Yeah.
Before
oh, God. From as early as I can remember, my dad was a massive country fan. Both my dad's brothers were huge country fans, and my mother was absolutely crazy about Queen. And so literally from as early as I can remember, the house has been full of music. Both my elder sisters played brass instruments. My older sister played the cornet, my other sister played the French horn, and I also played the cornet from sort of 7 till 12. But I couldn't be bothered to learn to read music because I just found it easy playing by ear. So I used to drive the band leader crazy because I'd be playing the songs and I wasn't even turning the pages because I didn't
exactly what you
know
mean.
what I was doing. But I've had music has been in my life all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a very musical house, but it also sounds like a very noisy one.
Yeah.
Definitely. Tell me, did you ever have any normal jobs then?
I've had loads of normal jobs.
Have you?
Yeah, I've had loads of normal. I actually trained as an engineer. I went to college and studied engineering. Yeah. My first job was in electronics, and I spent 3 or 4 years building and testing radar circuitry for American fighter planes. That sounds crazy. It's not as exciting. There's definitely no Top Gun in there whatsoever. It was literally just circuit boards, and it was actually quite mind-numbingly boring because there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and you just had to build them, test them, run them up to 100 degrees plus, 70 degrees minus, and if they still worked, you'd ship them off to the States. If it didn't work, you had to find out why. If
it all goes wrong for you in music, you know you've still got it. But it won't, of course. What do you? I mean, at the beginning of this, I talked about the superstars you worked with, the arenas you played, all the stuff, session musicians. What do you call your big break? What was the thing that took you from playing your back room effectively to stages?
Well, I guess the first thing that happened to me was I had a band I grew up on the Isle of Wight, and I had a band over there, and we'd outgrown the island, basically. I knew that if the band was ever going to get anywhere, we'd have to play on the mainland. And we tried doing a couple of gigs in Portsmouth, and nothing really came of it. So I was actually looking in the NME back then. It was a piece of paper which you held in your hand.
I remember it well.
And you couldn't even buy them on the Isle of Wight. I had to get on the ferry and go to Portsmouth to buy the NME. And just because the one venue that let new bands play was the Covent Rock Garden. It's now an Apple store, but it used to be called the Covent Rock Garden. It's where U2 were finally discovered and signed back in the 70s and that. I'm not as old as I'm making out, by the way. And this is in the 90s I did all this, okay? 95 actually, 96 even. So I went across on the ferry in 1996 and brought the NME, came back looking for the advert that gave you the address of the Covent Rock Garden to send your demo off to, and below that was an advert for a signed band in London looking for a guitarist. So I forgot about the gig and phoned the advert instead. And long story short, I ended up living in London, signed to Warner's and playing in a rock band called Rehab. We were signed to ZTT Warner's, and we made an album. We did some tours, toured with Ian Astbury from The Cult, which was definitely an eye-opener. I was pretty green. I moved from a beachside gift shop to a house next to Brixton Prison on Brixton Hill. It was definitely a culture shock, and I fell in love with London instantly, overnight. And so that was the kind of my first sort of big step.
Was it through your connections in London that you were able to get into the session musician world and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, kind of. Actually, I haven't thought about this for a long time. The thing with the Warners kind of fell through, as it does with bands, in the 90s. It fell through. And I was actually in a pub in Camden. It was the World's End in Camden. I was just stood at the bar listening to these two guys having a heated argument next to me. And one was a guitarist who actually went on to become my friend. His name's James Warburn, and he now plays for the Pretenders. But at the time, he was probably a couple of years older than me, and no, maybe younger anyway, but he was having a furious argument with his friend who was insisting that he should play session gigs to raise money, and James was going, no, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to lower myself and become a session artist. And I sort of tapped on the shoulder and said, excuse me, I will. So anyway, we became friends, and I found out who he was having this argument about, and it was an agency called The Session Connection. And I got in touch with them, and because I'd had some experience with being in a signed band, and I had done some touring and videos and recording, I was taken onto their books. And shortly afterwards, I found myself being called up for all kinds of a lot of TV stuff, Top of the Pops, CD UK, the Chart Show, Disney, all kinds of things. I did sort of a couple of weeks with Peter Andre. I was played with Lionel Richie, a few other people that came and went. But it was a great education for me because this was a real thing. You turn up to work, you were plonked in front of a camera. Unfortunately, I didn't get to play live a great deal because back then hardly any TV was live. So although you still had to learn the songs note for note because you get the close-up on your camera. And there was one point, I think I was playing with Lionel Richie and we were on the Graham Norton show, and during it was we were playing all night long, and during the solo I think I had Graham Norton had his arm around me on one side and Lionel Richie had his arm around me on the other side, and the camera zoomed in on my guitar which wasn't even plugged in, and I was thinking, God, I'm so happy that I actually learnt this solo.
I love it. Do you know, and maybe this is my ignorance, but you never learned to read music.
No.
But you get your way through all these session musicians, all these particular arrangements that the stars want.
King of the baggers.
Yeah, you must be a hell of a memory.
I've never tried to do it. It just happened. I'm terrible with lyrics, absolutely terrible with lyrics. Yes. I find it easier now than I used to, but even when I write my own songs, for the first few weeks I have to have the lyrics in front of me because the words don't sink in. But I was learning. I taught myself guitar learning by ear. And so I've never known anything different, and that was, years ago. So
great stuff. Well, look, I know you want to retune your guitar for your next song,
I really do.
I'm going to play your single. Do you want to mention Gemma? Give her a name check.
Yeah. This is my current single. It's called Hold Me Close. It's a duet, and it features the wonderful and amazing vocals of Gemma Muse, who's an East Londoner, and she's only 23, and she absolutely rocks. She's got a voice to die for, and she's going to go a long way. And she makes this song sound brilliant.
Here she comes.
Last night I heard you crying, and I hope it wasn't over me. Don't waste your precious tears. I'm not through with trying, and I know I made mistakes and you tried to make me listen. But love ain't a losing game, and there's always room for winners. Hold me close, keep me warm, wrap my heart in those hands of yours. We've got it all, we've got it all. Without you there is nowhere I belong.
Last night I felt like dying, and I feel so far from you. My tears prove that I really care for you, my darling. I'm done with all this lying to you. No, I should have talked to you, but I thought you wouldn't listen. My love was never meant to fade. My heart had no condition. Hold me close, keep me warm, wrap my heart in those hands of yours. We've got it all, we've got it all. Without you there is nowhere I belong. My time is yet to
laughed and loved and kissed and swore eternity.
Hold me close, keep me warm, wrap my heart in those hands of yours. We've got it all, we've got it all. Without you there is nowhere I belong. Hold me close, keep me warm, wrap my heart in those hands of yours. We've got it all, we've got it all. Without you there is nowhere I belong. Without you there is nowhere I belong.
That was Steve Young and his song, tell me the title?
Hold Me Close.
Hold Me Close with Gemma, and he's just promised to bring Gemma in the next time he comes into the studio. And if he can't make it, just send Gemma.
Oh, thanks. I'll tell her you said that.
Yeah, please. Well, hopefully she knows now. Hopefully she's listening. I kind of get the feeling, Steve, that you don't work with a massive management machine around you.
I don't have anyone. I'm
Really?
totally on my own. Yeah.
My goodness
That's
me.
not by choice. I would love to have a team around me, but they're
Yeah.
pretty hard to find these days.
Because, I mean, I've spoken to a number of musicians in recent months that they've chosen the, you know, control freaks by their own definition, by the way. That's the way they like it. But you would prefer to...
Well, no, you probably hit the nail on the head there. I think if I took on a management team, they would have to be people. They'd have to be as obsessed as I am, because, I mean, I only play in the evenings, and I just spend all day on my computer just annoying people to death.
Yeah, I am not annoyed, but I am very aware you spend all day on your computer, because you're tweeting as immense, your Facebook stuff, your web's brilliant, your website has got everything. I think if you breathe, it goes onto your website.
Yeah, I mean,
you've done a good job with that.
I mean, I'm probably starting to discover I don't actually have a life, but but you got to do it. You got to do it. The content out there that you're up against, you know, these big PR companies that are just, forcing stuff out all the time. I mean, they're the people I'm up against, so I've just got to keep doing it. And now I don't have a team, and I'd love to one day, but you know.
But it's working for you now. Do you feel that it's working?
Yeah. I feel I feel that I'm making more progress as a solo artist in the last year than I've made in years as a session player. Even though I've done some cool stuff as a session player, like you're still waiting around for other people all the time. You're waiting for a phone call, you know, or you're waiting for, are you going to get the job or you're not going to get the job? I mean, it's brilliant. I love it.
Okay.
You know.
You've got an EP available.
I've got an EP out, yeah.
Which I'm happy to say I've actually paid money for.
Oh, there you go. See?
You're a lucky boy.
People pay for music still.
Oh, they do, yes.
Who'd have thought?
That's very true, actually. What was the thinking about putting out an EP as opposed to an album? Are you on your way?
I couldn't afford to make an album.
Oh, like that, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And when's the album going to come? Because I'm sure you'll get there.
I've just literally just about to start a Pledge Music campaign.
Ah, good.
So Pledge Music campaign, if you don't know what it is, you basically go onto my homepage, which will eventually be up on my website. I don't know what it is yet. And you can buy things, sign CDs. You can have me come around your house and play a private gig. I can write hand lyrics out for you. I mean, there's a whole list of stuff that I've agreed to do. And the idea is that you pay money for that.
Okay.
It's from £5 up to, £1,000 if you want me to come to your house and play, or where. I don't know where I got that number from.
Have you set your target then? Your target for the pledge, the crowdfunding yet?
Not yet. I'm not sure. It's a tough one, that, because you don't want to overshoot. And you don't want to undershoot and reach your target and then realise you actually haven't got enough to do what you need to do.
I think what tends to happen with a lot of them is they set a target and then they set a stretch target when they hit it. So they are allowed. You can go again.
All right.
If you know what I
I'm
mean.
not totally 100% au fait with how it all works. They've suggested a target, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, but if I get that target, I'm probably not going to have enough. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, you've certainly got a lot of fans. I mean, this morning when I did a tweet, which incidentally you told me to do, so therefore I was going to do. This man is even managing me now.
Did I tell you to do it?
Yeah, you did.
No, I said make sure you tweet it so that I can retweet it.
Exactly. That's exactly what you did, and I loved it because I'm very bad at remembering that stuff.
Right, you've got to do it.
Exactly. And I immediately received a whole bunch of tweets from all around the world.
Oh, there you go.
So you've clearly got a fan base. Given the fact that you've been so successful in the background, what is it that made you step forward and take up the challenge?
A couple of things, really. Frustration. Although it's amazing to be someone's right-hand man, especially someone like Darren Hayes, where he's a master of what he does. You find yourself getting frustrated, and it took me a few years to realise it, but I actually I discovered that the things I was frustrated about was actually because I wasn't out there doing it myself. A couple of my friends also released EPs, and I just thought, okay, I've really got to do this. And then a couple of things happened in my personal life which gave me the material to write about, which kind of that gave me the content. And I found that once I had the content, once I had the lyrics down, the rest of it kind of fell into place, and it was like a floodgate, really. It just I was absolutely terrified. I did my first solo gig on July the 9th last year.
Really?
And I was I was so nervous, and I still get nervous now, and I didn't enjoy it at all. And I was like, okay, if I do this and I don't become to enjoy it. And then when I was very privileged and lucky to get a slot at the Country to Country Festival on the pop-up stage at the Brooklyn Bowl, I absolutely loved that gig. Like, it was just such a brilliant experience, and I thought, okay, I'm enjoying it now. But I've been hard on myself. I do at least one open mic every week, and open mics are quite tough to do because no one's your fan, no one cares, and you either crash and burn, or someone comes up to you and says, oh, I enjoyed that. And I do that every week. I do open mics, new ones, wherever I can find them, because it's the only way that you can put your songs out there and actually think, okay, am I doing anything good, or is it just my mates telling me that it's good? So it's a good leveller, you know.
Yeah. So are you in a place where you're feeling quite good about your music and good about the future now?
Swings and roundabouts. Some mornings I wake up and just think, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like, God, there's 18-year-olds out there that are killing it, and they're amazing. Like, what am I thinking? But then a day like today, I've been driving around all day playing on radio stations, and it goes good and it sounds good and I'm enjoying it. I think, well, this is what I always wanted. I've been sat in this spot a million times with people like Darren, and I've been sat there where this chap sat, and I've been playing a guitar, and I've been looking at him thinking, what's it like? What's it like just to be sitting there and talking to the DJ and singing about your own music? And now I'm doing it, and it's brilliant, and I hope I just keep doing it. And I hope people let me keep doing it. I
suspect you will. So, as a frontman, without management, how did you manage to pick up these pretty impressive gigs you're now going to tell us about?
By annoying the death out of people. No, are you talking about the
Joe Harmon? Yeah.
That I've got a friend. He's a good friend of mine. His name's Doug, and he every Monday I go around to Doug's house and I use his garage studio to demo up my new songs. And Doug's a very avid live music follower, and he sent me a text one night and said, "Oh, there's a girl called Joe Harmon, and she's playing at our local venue, which is the Rhodes Centre in Bishop Stortford. I teach at a rock school in Bishop Stortford 2 nights a week." And so he's like, the manager's address and email address is on a website, and I'm just thinking, right. I got home, sent it was like quite late at night. I'd just come back from an open mic, and I sent him an email saying, look, I know it's a long shot, but your artist Jo, she's playing in a town where I teach, school that I teach for, they sponsor the venue. Is there any chance that I can do an opening slot? And by the time I'd woken up the next morning, he'd come back and said yes. Fantastic. And then I was toing and froing with him for a couple of days, and then I popped the ultimate cheeky question and said, I don't suppose there's any more dates, is there, that you can you can have a support? And he was like, yeah, let me know what dates you're available. And I gave him this list of dates, and he said, yeah, you can do that one, you can do that one, you can do that one. And so now I've just been hammering it and contacting all the local stations in the relevant areas. And so, yeah, that's I'm supporting special guest support for Joe Harmon, JoHarman, who's a a very much acclaimed blues singer who's, if you look her up, she's had a lot of great things been said about her.
I listened to some of her music this afternoon. Really
so these
good.
are great. This is great for me. This is my first step. You know, this is an official, proper support for a bona fide, real artist, and it's brilliant. And I'm so excited.
Well, there's no support tonight, Steve.
No.
You're the man. We'd like you to sing another song.
All right.
What are you doing?
Like a quick swig of water.
Yeah.
This is a song that I guess I consider it my most sort of country song, or one of them anyway, and it's called Waiting for My Heart to Catch Up With My Head.
Okay.
Don't really need to say any more than that, do I? Thinking is easy, no one needs to know. You wear your heart on your sleeve with your secrets exposed. I see you only, but your eyes let you down. My head knows what I need, but my heart lags behind. I'm waiting for my heart to catch up on my head. Tired of hanging on to all the things you said. Chest keeps beating, head keeps thinking. Guess I know the answers, but I can't stop feeling. Brand new city, easy when I'm busy. Gotta start loving, cause I wanna start living. But I'm waiting for my heart to catch up with my head instead. I'm drowning in a river, water rushing by. I'm sinking to the bottom, I've gotta think myself dry. I'm coming up for air, cause I've been walking on the hard line. But I'm nearly at the end now, it's like breathing for the first time. I'm waiting for my heart to catch up on my head. Tired of hanging on to all the things you said. Chest keeps beating, head keeps thinking. Guess I know the answers, but I can't stop feeling. Brand new city, easy when I'm busy. Gotta start loving, cause I wanna start living. But I'm waiting for my heart to catch up on my head instead. Gotta let you know. Oh, I'm tired of all my feelings on show. Oh, I'm gonna say it out loud. I'm gonna set myself free and find myself a brand new crowd. I'm waiting for my heart to catch up on my head. Tired of hanging on to all the things you said. Chest keeps beating, head keeps thinking. Guess I know the answers, but I can't stop feeling. Brand new city, easy when I'm busy. Gotta start loving, cause I wanna start living. But I'm waiting for my heart to catch up on my head instead. I'm waiting for my heart to catch up on my head instead. Oh, I'm waiting for my heart to catch up on my head instead.
Well, what a privilege to be able to sit this close to you, Steve, and watch you at work. That is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
I hope you will come back later in the year.
I'm coming back.
You're coming back, and I'll let everybody know the date in due course.
I'll remind you.
I'll get a tweet, yeah. Thank you very much for coming in, Steve. I really, really appreciate it, and thanks very much.
Thanks a lot. SteveYoungUK.com if you want to come and find stuff out.
He's still working at it.